The incredible story of Elijah, God's prophet of fire. He called fire from heaven, he outran a king's chariot, and he never tasted death. This is the story of Elijah, one of the most powerful prophets in the Bible. In the days of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, Israel had turned to worship Baal. Into this darkness came Elijah the Tishbite, a lone prophet sent by God. He walked into the royal court and declared, "There will be no rain or dew in the land until I say so." Then he disappeared into the wilderness, hidden by God and fed by ravens at the brook Cherith. When the brook dried up, God sent Elijah to a widow in Zarephath. She had only a handful of flour and a little oil. Yet at Elijah's word, her jar of flour never emptied, and her oil never ran out during the famine. Later, when her son died, Elijah prayed earnestly, and God restored the boy's life. Word spread, this prophet spoke with God's power. After 3 years of drought, God told Elijah to confront Ahab. On Mount Carmel, Elijah gathered 450 prophets of Baal and all Israel. "If the Lord is God, follow him," he cried. The challenge: each side would prepare a sacrifice, but not light it. The true God would send fire from heaven. All day Baal's prophets shouted and cut themselves. Nothing happened. At evening, Elijah rebuilt the Lord's altar, drenched it with water, and prayed, "Lord, let it be known you are God in Israel." Instantly, fire fell from heaven, consuming the sacrifice, the stones, the water, everything. The people fell on their faces. The Lord, He is God. Elijah prayed again, and a tiny cloud appeared over the sea. Soon the sky turned black with storm clouds. Rain poured for the first time in years. Empowered by God, Elijah ran ahead of Ahab's chariot to Jezreel. But Jezebel swore to kill him, and Elijah fled into the wilderness, exhausted and afraid. Under a broom tree, he prayed to die. But God sent an angel with food and water, and Elijah journeyed to Mount Horeb. At Mount Horeb, Elijah took shelter in a cave. A mighty wind tore through the mountains, but God wasn't in the wind. An earthquake shook the ground, but God wasn't in the quake. A fire blazed, but God wasn't in the fire. Finally came a gentle whisper. Elijah covered his face. In the quiet, God renewed his mission and sent him back to anoint new leaders and call a new prophet, Elisha. Years later, after training Elisha, Elijah's time came. As they walked together, a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared. In a whirlwind, Elijah was taken up to heaven alive. His mantle fell to Elisha, marking the transfer of his prophetic spirit. To this day, Elijah is remembered as the prophet of fire, courage, and unwavering faith. Elijah's story shows God's power and his care for his servants. What part of Elijah's life inspires you most? The fire, the whisper, or his faith? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Lighten the Stories for more epic Bible stories brought to life.